Great Britain, 1940. Hitler's Nazi Germany had cast a specter over all of Europe, and it was headed to the home island of Great Britain. On June 4th of that year, Prime Minister Winston Churchill stood before the House of Commons and said,
"We shall fight on the beaches. We shall fight on the landing grounds. We shall fight in the fields and in the streets. We shall fight in the hills. We shall never surrender."
Now, Hitler wanted to take the home island of Great Britain. The only problem was he couldn't do an amphibious assault like marine landing because the British had a very strong navy. So he thought he would subdue the island from the air first, and then he would engage in Operation Sea Lion, which would come later. He never got to it. So they started off by bombing shipping out in the English Channel, and then they moved to airfields and manufacturing and these strategic type of targets, and finally they said, you know what, screw it, we're gonna bomb whole cities. So they started hitting London. They hit a town called Coventry, about wiped it off the map. It was horrible, but the British were awesome. After a bombing, they would come out, put out all the fires, stack up the bricks from the buildings that had been smashed, and then the next day, the shops would be open, the schools would be open. They would make sure that everything went on as usual. And Winston Churchill, the Prime Minister, he would walk the streets through the rubble after the previous night's bombing. He wanted people to see it's gonna be okay. It'll be all right, we're gonna beat these guys. And you know what? They did. They outlasted them. Those Hawker Hurricanes and those Spitfires, they would go up every day, every night and shoot those things down. They would shoot the Condors, the Blenheims, the Messerschmitts, the Focke-Wulfs, all those German guys, they were shooting them down. And finally, Hitler said, you know what? I've had enough. We're gonna call off Operation Sea Lion. Hey, Hermann, we're calling it off. Carl, we're calling it off. And they called it off. Good job, Brits.